Hello, welcome everyone, Dantas here again with another Bygone Phantasm progression video. Today's video is gonna cover floors from 221 to 225, which also includes the boss at the end of the video, and my gear as always is at the end of the video as well. So without further ado, let's start with this wave. First recommendation for this type of wave with the enemies with the big mech guys, you focus the big guys first. As levels go higher and higher on the Bygone, they're gonna get more and more tanky than before, were the small guys that were summoning sometimes two companions that usually were dogs. So yeah, positions is important as always. Keeping them together, like if you have Nemesis, keep them in straight lines so you can pierce them with your Nemesis gun. If not, you can just use Samir or any other weapon that you preference. I personally use those three because those are my highest 3 stars, and I don't have any other weapons, so basically I'm a little stuck with using Samir, Nemesis, and King, which, to be honest, if I had previous knowledge about the game, I'll basically reroll my account until I got actually Meryl and go right now with the Frig composition with Frost and Tsubasa because they're insane amount of damage, but well, it is what it is. Yeah. Recommendation as well for this, I would say, if you cannot keep them together, make sure you guys have positioned yourself that they're gonna come to you. And whenever you guys time stop, make sure you save charge for a shield breaker weapon, and then if you got like 2 charges, just use your highest damage weapon that actually doesn't throw them around. In which case, if I would use my pistol right here with a charge skill, then I would basically ruin them getting stuck together like this, and I'll have a lot of problem dealing damage. But since I didn't do that, this wave was very simple and easy. Moving on to next one, the wave 222. On this wave, we have Samurai, which means we have to move close to them, and also some Berserkers, which they work sadly same as Samurai. If you don't move too close to them, they're gonna get stuck in animation and will they not move at all, which is annoying. So, the toughest enemy on this wave is of course Lieutenant Z. He has the most health and the strongest shield, so priority from any enemies is to prioritize him as a first target. Everything else can probably kill with AoE damage, so it's no big deal to deal. And if you use your Samikan like this, like I did before, you can actually push your enemy towards the others, so they're gonna get sacked. And yeah, with my tornado, they literally deal a lot of damage right there because they were perfectly stacked and they were all caught into one tornado, which dealt a lot of damage, which helped me. Now basically just break a shield, and yeah, keeping them together. Sadly, I made a mistake because I didn't see that my shield didn't actually shield breaker weapon didn't reach the guy in the back. But lucky for me, this guy has actually weak shield compared to other NPCs on this wave, which was quite lucky for me. And now I'm gonna focus on keeping them together. So I'm gonna slow them with the Nemesis gun, then I'm gonna use my pistol skill, and I should get my King ready. Because when I soon gonna see the shield, I'm gonna pop it right here. And yeah, just repeating this until the wave is gonna be end. Just paying attention always to the positioning and my cooldowns of the relic weapons because they will help. Like even those like sticks are like what 1 or 2k, but sometimes this difference can actually make, especially when you're fighting lizards, those little numbers can actually make a difference when you actually kill them or not. Since, as you know, my gear is basically stuck at 2 stars because I'm not spending any money on this game. I'm going full free to play, and I have to do whatever I get, which I actually consider slowly to switching towards the something like a Shira weapon, which was I got already 1 star on her, and that's why we actually play, because I'm starting to reach the limit of my Vault gear and Samir, because if I don't get tier star Samir, I will not progress further. Anyway, that's it for this wave. I'm finishing on Lens Z right now and moving on to next wave 223. Here we have Aberrance, which is a very simple wave. Basically you focus the big fat mutant in the back and you keep others close. If you have a problem with the getting stunned from the Predator, you can just move on him. He has very small amount of health and very weak shield. You can actually probably take him down in like 10 seconds. And you'll be then have easy time of not getting interrupted at any point of this fight, which is gonna help you. But in my case, I don't mind because I usually can predict when he's gonna use the skill because I fought too many times against him, especially on Lizard, so I got enough practice, I think. And I basically just kill him with AoE from basically my king weapon or some other damage that basically flies around. I should actually mention this, like probably in my every video, that paying attention to HP enemies. If you pay attention, that at certain pools of health that you can actually see, like you have to guess average, they're gonna trigger shield automatically when they reach that health pool. Those health pools are 90%, 60 to 55%, then it's like 25%, and then it's 10% health. At those points, they're gonna trigger a shield nearly instantly, no matter what you do. So when you see enemies get approached of the percentage of that health, make sure you have your shield breaking weapon ready so you can break the shields and deal some damage. And in my case, when I ever break a shield on any wave, I use Robark set on my king weapon, which helps me a lot because on top of basically my initial boon from breaking the shield on the flame weapon, I got also Robark set that deals damage over time. Not much, but every little helps. And with that, and proper using time stops, the wave is pretty much over. Next wave is gonna be kinda interesting, because I don't know why, but on the wave 224 that's gonna start right about now, I actually failed this wave 2 times before I cleared, because every other wave, aside from this, was actually first cleared. But this guy and these guys that are on this wave have, I mean, normally, like on previous videos, they were like doing almost no damage to me, but now, since I wiped here like 2 times, I noticed that keeping them together should be actually the case. And burning them much faster, because even though the Mauler with the big hammer has the most health and the strongest shield, he doesn't actually deal the most damage here. It's actually those guys that are throwing the rocks at me, and they should be actually dealt with. So yes, I have very bad position here, because they're not together, 3 of them. So I moved here a bit to the back to put them slightly closer. Like, and normally I should basically fighting around them, but well, since I'm got even a basic range for my shield breaking king weapon to deal AoE damage, and I can deal with shields, I basically right now have to position myself correctly with my Nemesis gun to pierce to out enemies to deal the damage even to the last one. And this time it actually helped me to stack them because both of them are gonna be next to each other at the back. So my king weapon is gonna hit them both, which means they're gonna receive double ticks of damage, which is very helpful. And at this point, I should actually be finishing the fight, but I didn't notice that my cooldown from the previous round was actually not up with the tornadoes, so I have to basically finish them with my guns. Because normally when I actually fail a wave, I don't basically wait for my cooldown, I just go straight in back and see if I can actually improve without using my relics, which in this case I'll basically finish wave right about now. But sadly, sometimes when I basically clear waves right after I don't have cooldowns, I basically have to spend like extra seconds killing the last guy, which in this case basically when you have like an enemy at last health, all you have to remember is keeping your weapon charge ready for the shield breaking, because those enemies are like to trigger shields when it's actually at like last bars of health. So if you can break the shield, and well, it's done. Now for the wave with the Frig. Here I use multiple relics that are different, just to get extra edge on damage her, because I'm not yet familiar with her moveset. Like, sure, I get hit here and there, but sometimes, like in this case, I can actually deal time stop, which is very important because this allows me to free damage. Because she kinda likes to move around, and what I actually like about her is that her shield is not strong, and actually break it with one basically charged weapon skill and just using active ability on the king. And this allows me to kinda stun lock her with my Samir guns to keep her frozen in place for like a couple of seconds to do free damage. And if I actually have my proper timing right there, I could actually trigger time stop before, which would be perfect. But I need actually probably more practice with her. Same goes for actually when I fight Aegis. But overall, Frig is actually pretty easy boss fight, because unlike stupid Frostbot and Lucia that basically darts around without actually making logical sense, because basically just dart away, and if you don't deal constant damage to them, and if you're basically free player like me, you're gonna like damage even with the buffs. So you have to kinda get tricky with them and focusing like on every other boss, whenever they move like any ability that they use, like a dash or movement skill, you have to actually time stop them to stop them from doing that. And ideally, you take them down enough health so they can actually trigger a shield. So basically, they're gonna interrupt that animation, and you can actually stun lock them for further and DPS for much longer period of time. But overall, this fight is very straightforward. Basically, try to stop her dashing with a time stop, or rather, even her slices that basically hit you at short range, and then basically have like charge weapon ready at like the end of her fierce bar that goes close to the 2 bars, and then when there's 1 bar left, she's gonna trigger at around 70% of her health another shield, and yeah, that's about it. About Frig, very simple boss, just requires a bit of practice, and even with like hard locked with the gear, I still managed to clear wave 225. Now, as for my gear, so since I got access to slowly to more SSR type of gear, I can get much more gear score than in my previous videos and much more faster. But sadly that isn't the case for my weapons, because they're hard locked behind the vitality. Here I'm gonna move in my next probable video and my clear my Tsubasa set to my Nemesis guns, because I have problems of getting damage from it. My King Bar set is basically my main carry when it comes to shield breaking, because it does like double ticks. My gear is kinda, well, RNG based, nothing special. Aside from my pants, basically my pants and my shoulders are like my best piece of the gear that increase my volt damage by the most amount. So getting an upgrade to those, like to get crit there, is gonna be really hard. But well, that's about it. Like and subscribe, see you next video, and have a great day.